What's been happening, man? You got a new album, and it's actually debuted in Australia on our ARIA chart at number 28. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad going at all.
Yeah, not bad for a metal album. It's normally a lot of top 40 pop you get in the album chart, so it's pretty cool to see, at least one metal album in there.
Yeah, I think it's doing well in Germany and England as well, which is good. Don't know the exact figures. It was like 19 and 11.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll find out today, yeah.
Yeah, no, I've had a listen to your album, and I think it's probably my favourite album you've done since Thornography. It's very heavy. It's a bit more old school Cradle of Filth. There's lots of guitar solos in there, which I love because I'm a huge Shredder fan. Just how did the album go, and what do you think about it? Are you proud of this album?
Extremely, yeah. I mean, obviously, it's a slightly different lineup. We had to find, out of necessity, I hasten to add, 2 new guitarists.
Yeah.
And that was because we were undertaking a co-headline tour with Behemoth across Europe last year.
Yeah.
We knew that one of our guitarists couldn't do it because of personal reasons, so we replaced him for the tour. But shortly before the tour started, we found out that our other guitarist, who had been suffering quite a severe neck injury, was having to undergo major surgery and wouldn't even be able to pick a guitar up, let alone go out on tour. So we had to make a big decision there and then, and we found someone else at the 11th hour, and fortunately the band gelled very well. Having 2 guitarists join at the same time worked really brilliantly. They're both very prolific, big fans of the band. And we basically wrote the album, that was a springboard to writing, and we wrote behind a slew of big summer festivals last year and a full month-long tour of Russia. And here we are now. And we were in the studio for on and off for about 4 months. Very isolated studio here in the British countryside, and we were just very focused on it. And literally since delivering it to the record company, I've been undertaking hundreds upon hundreds of interviews here and abroad, and the band's sort of been out playing a bunch of. In fact, we just got back from playing Rock Cars at the weekend. Actually, I played with Cradle and my other band, Devilment.
Okay.
So things are suddenly blossoming from being really isolated to suddenly, bloody hell.
Yeah, and which guitarist was it that injured his neck? And if his neck did get better, and he wanted to come back, would that be okay?
Well, I think we've moved on as a band. And anyway, he was more of a live guitarist. It was James McIlroy. He has his own band. I think he's actually got better now, from what I can tell. He actually came down to London to wish us all the best on the tour.
Yeah.
Then I heard that his operation didn't go ahead as planned because he was literally on the gurney in the hospital and being explained that they weren't going to do it the way that he'd been told, and they were going to fuse his bones together. And he was like, "Fuck that! I'm not doing that." So I think it was delayed somewhat because of that. But no, I think he's had it now, and I think he's on the mend.
Yeah. I was going through all your albums just over the last week. I was having a listen to The Principles of Evil Made Flesh, and when you listen to that album, you swear it was a different singer on it. Your voice has just changed so much over the years. I guess, how did you approach?
Well, obviously, I was 94.
Yeah, how old were you then? You must have been a teenager.
I think I was at 19.
Yeah. Did you have much vocal practice back then? Would you do the vocals differently now on that album?
Probably, but I never look at it like that. It's all about the moment. Yeah. And the album was actually heralded as like a bit of a game changer because of the production. Listen to the production now, it sounds really primitive, but back then it was like, wow, you can hear everything. It's and obviously probably would do it very differently now, but that's it's now and that was then, and in the 21 years since the album's release, obviously things have changed, and since then I've had vocal tuition, and more importantly, I see this great guy is like a doctor slash sort of vocal coach who deals in vocal manipulation. So basically, it's like when a tennis player gets tennis elbow cramps and stuff like that. It's the equivalent of that, but vocals. So he pulls your face around a lot, and and the larynx, and it's a painful procedure, but one that has improved the longevity and enabled me to I think I'm a bit more diverse, and I'm better at hitting notes and things than I've been for a long while, even at the tender age of 40.
Yeah, no, I always think you've got such a unique voice. There's really no other singer out there that sounds like you.
You said unique. You said unique, not eunuch.
Oh, no, you're not a eunuch, I hope.
Unique record.
Yeah, unique. I know they used to have unique singers. I think they're called castratos. I don't think you're one of those. No, but how did you come up with your vocal style? It sounds like you can hit the baritone notes, you can hit the falsetto. It's all through a growl, but it was quite a technical form of singing you got down pat. How did you come up with that sound?
To be honest, I don't really remember. I think it was basically because I had quite a large musical palette to choose from. I was really into thrash metal and American hardcore and stuff like that back in my youth. And I was in a bunch of different bands in high school, like one that was a bit like Faith No More and another that was really punky. Yeah. And then Cradle of Filth came along, but we were called something completely different back then. And so, just kind of gravitated toward it. And then one day I was just screamed. I went, "Oh Christ, that's weird." And it's about technique and breathing, and there's lots of weird and wonderful things a vocalist does. But one of them is not to, and it surprises a lot of people, but I've often, on tours, and I'll be touring with a band, and they'll start warming up for the show for about an hour beforehand, and I was like, fucking hell, that's ridiculous. Yeah. You shouldn't warm up for more than 5-10 minutes at the very most, because, that's something that people get surprised at. They go, what? It's like, but your body knows what it's doing. It just needs to get back into that rhythm very quickly. Yeah. You warm up for an hour, your voice is fucked before you even go on stage.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So there's lots of little tricks of the trade and weird things, and what works for one person doesn't work for another.
Do you ever do clean vocals? Are you good at that as well?
No, I'm absolutely awful. It's not the fact that I can't hit the notes. I can hit notes perfectly, but believe it or not, my actually clean voice actually sounds like a little boy.
Oh. The song
which is very odd.
Probably
it's really odd.
You've done to it, but yeah, I don't think there's any Cradle of Filth.
I don't know. I think it's the closest I've done to it is probably on the Devilment album, actually.
Oh, okay. I'll have to have a listen to that.
Yeah. There's a couple of tracks in there, like Summer Arteries, the first song in there, which is probably the very close to get to melodic singing. Yeah.
I talked to your keyboardist / backup singer Lindsay Schoolcraft the other week, and she was very nice. How's she going in the band? Do you like her? Is she going to stay forever, do you think?
Well, everything's going very well. I mean, we had a great weekend playing in, like I say, Rock Cars. Beautiful place, southeast of Germany. Yeah. Former Eastern Germany, but it was amazing. It was an airfield. It wasn't a huge festival. Dream Theater, Wasp, Cradle. There's a lot of big bands, but I think it was 15,000 people. So it was quite low key as well, and great, really good fun. And I got, obviously with both bands, I got to hang around for about 3 days. Yeah. But Lindsay obviously had flown from Canada, so she got in at a completely different time to everybody else, and managed. So I got to spend a night, whereas the Cradle didn't fly until literally midnight, so they kind of missed one of the days. But I played with Devilment at 4, and then had time off, and then Lindsay came in about 6. So we get on famously. In fact, last year we played the Amnesia Rocks, which is a massive festival in Canada. And then myself and my wife and my daughter stayed on with Lindsay for a week in Canada. Had a really, really good time hanging around Toronto. So yeah, and everybody in the bands, gets along famously at the moment, and they're all very talented. They all bring their own stuff to the table, and the album has been a real collaboration of everybody. Lindsay, Martin's contributed a lot of keyboards, because he always writes keyboards. Lindsay's contributed stuff that's turned into guitar riffs and harp, obviously backing vocals. So yeah, there's been, everybody's contributed equally, but in different measures, if you know what I mean, to different things.
Yeah, I know you're in England, Lindsay's in Canada. I think you got some other band members in the Czech Republic. It sounds like a bit of a pain in the ass to handle all that. How come it's so spread out? Would it just be so expensive?
Well, it's just the way it's the way it's become. But it's okay. In fact, the bass player lives in Glasgow in Scotland. Scottish, 2 Czech people, we call it Czech mates.
Yeah.
And there's two of us in England, live in 2 different parts of England, but we do spend an awful amount of time with each other. Also, social media now with Dropbox and that, you can send things probably easier than if the guys lived next door to me. And we do spend, like I say, a lot of time on the road, and we do spend a lot of time in airports, in dressing rooms, sound checks. We obviously get together properly before tours and before albums and before albums, like writing sessions begin and stuff like that. So that's no problem at all. And in fact, after this next run of dates, because we're starting a full world tour middle of October in Europe, then we go to South America for Christmas. After Christmas, we go to America and Canada. Got a couple more shows after that, and now we're then looking toward Australia and New Zealand and Asia. After all of that, and then next year's summer festivals, probably be pig sick of the sight of each other. Oh,
yeah, I bet. The first album that actually got me in the Cradle of Filth, and I just realised it was almost 10 years ago, was Nymphetamine. It's such a great album. I think, just the song itself is in my top 10 of greatest heavy metal songs of all time. I love that track. Are you going to do anything to celebrate 10 years of Nymphetamine, maybe a special edition vinyl or anything like that?
Well, maybe every year now is anniversary of some sort.
Yeah.
Next year, we'll see the release of, it'll be 20 years since Dusk and Her Embrace.
Yeah.
And there was an album, a version of the album recorded. We actually recorded the album twice. The reason for that being was that we recorded it shortly after Principle of Evil Made Flesh. Then we were in court with our record company. We took them to court because they weren't doing, they were being a bit criminal. Anyway, we won that case. And to get off the label, we gave them as a kind of parting gift the Vampire EP, which was some tracks already written. It was a bit of hodgepodge, but nobody'd heard the tracks, so it was very successful. And we won the rights to take Dusk and Her Embrace to Music for Nations, which is a different label. But subsequently, we had to re-record it. So there was a version with different members that has been languishing on some record company guy's shelf for the last 20 years, of which I've just found out a few weeks back that they intend to release it next year, obviously, albeit with our full blessing.
Okay.
So that's going to be interesting. There's a lot of people that know about this as well.
How different are the 2 albums, and do you have a preference for which one you like better?
Well, to be fair, I haven't even heard the other one for 20 years, so I'm being sent a DAT copy. I'm supposed to have been sent it this week, but I haven't got it as yet. But, yeah, it will be notably different.
Yeah,
but it's something the fans have been hankering after for ages, since rumour of its existence fell into being. So I think it's going to be really interesting. It's going to have new artwork and footnotes and stuff like that. And I think there were 2 demo tracks that people haven't heard either as well that will be added to it.
Yeah.
But with that said, I'm sure every year that there's going to be a celebration, of an anniversary of some description from now on in.
Yeah, no, you guys have been really consistent with albums. I was just looking for your discography on Wikipedia, and there's only 2-year gap between every album. So I think as far as bands go, you're one of the most consistent. Is it hard to pick a set list? You've got so many songs, and people obviously want to hear the older stuff, Midian and Damnation in the Day, but you've also got some pretty killer tracks off new albums like Hammer of the Witches and Pornography and all that sort of stuff.
Sorry, what was? Sorry.
What was
the
question? Was, is it hard to pick a set list with so many songs?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, we were compiling a set list for the forthcoming European tour, and it was like running to about 3 days long. I just said, look, because you have to play tracks from the album, you have to play the classics, Nymph-Mins, The Ghost in the Fogs, etc. Then the track, like a smattering of tracks, so you don't lose out on an era of the band. And then there's a fan's choice and your choice, so it does get ridiculous, especially when you're playing a festival and you're only playing for an hour.
Yeah.
But I just said to the guys, when I saw the list, I was like, right, we'll work this out. I don't care. I do care, but as long as we play Queen of Winter Thrones, that's my contribution to the set list.
Okay.
Anything else goes.
Oh, that's awesome. It's been a while since you've done a song with Christine. You're going to do another song again? I think you just did Amphetamine and Temptation, maybe a few others.
Well, the fact that we just got, Lindsay in the band,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, because my other band, Devilman, went out on support of Motionless in White and Lacuna Coil across Europe last year.
Yeah.
And I know Christina Scabier for ages, and she's always wanted to do a duet thing.
That'd be cool. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, it would be very cool, but it's also, very sort of, well, it's like saying to Martin, our old drummer Nicholas Barker wants to do a song with us. Do you mind not playing on it? It's a bit
expensive, I guess.
It'd be different if I was the only singer in the band. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I don't know. It could happen. I just don't know. There was talk. I didn't. I did a song recently for a computer game called Karma Flow.
Okay.
Where I did a duet with Simone Simons from Epica.
Oh, that'd be great. I'd love to.
There's lots of people that have been up for wanting, like, obviously. It's just, been approached by a few people, to cut a long story short.
Yeah, I'm looking through your member changes on Wikipedia. You guys have had more members than Spinal Tap's had drummers. Are you still in good relationship anymore?
Well, the thing is, a vast number of those people were session musicians and haven't been credited as such. They were working for other bands as well. So you could probably take out 10 of those people.
Yeah.
Also, it does look like there's a revolving door, but people have to understand the band is so busy, and because of the area of music we're in, and the fact it's quite niche. There's a lot of people who have been in the band have gone, you know what, I think I can do this better if I go out and do it on my own. Yeah. And so they've gone and formed their own bands. And that would probably account for about 6 or 7 of those people as well. And then there's a few people who've, mainly female keyboardists, left to start families. Yeah. So I think we've only sacked a couple of people, and that was way before the year 2000. But yeah, there have been a lot of people. But my work ethos is, if I was working in a magazine, it wouldn't bother anybody, because the magazine, as long as the magazine keeps going, or the radio station, then it doesn't really matter who's behind it, as long as the ethics are still there. Yeah. And the same with the band, and I see it as mutating and surviving. We could have just buried our head in the sands when we lost both those guitarists for that tour, not done the tour, and then I don't know what would have happened with the album, but that's not in our sort of DNA to do that. We wanted to continue, we want to roll, we didn't want to let people down. So, and the plus side of that is, this album is the byproduct of us persevering.
Yeah, I remember reading an interview a little while back with Max Cavalera from Soulfly, and he said he actually likes to change lineups every couple of hours.
Oh yeah, he's another person that He's another band that's had a lot of
Yeah, but
lineup
he said
changes.
he likes to do it just because it keeps it fresh, because I know as a guitarist, like, there's only so many riffs, and eventually they're going to start sounding the same. So I guess, in a way, do you think that keeps the Cradle of Filth sound a bit fresh, just having new members, because they've all got different ideas to contribute?
It's true. It's just a little difficult on the sort of personal aspect, seeing people disappear that you become friends with. But
Yeah.
hopefully, fingers crossed, and can't promise anything because you never know what's around the next corner, to be fair. But hopefully this lineup will withstand at least a few albums because, as I said, we're all getting along very well. The people are great. The magic that we create between the six of us is it's working, and we've got a lot of ideas. People are hungry to write again. It's just a very good vibe at the moment, and couldn't really ask for more of that. And that's before we've even gone out and done some of the places they're very excited about undertaking, because we haven't done America with this lineup. We haven't done Australia, Japan, New Zealand, Asia with this lineup. We haven't done South America with this lineup, in fact. So,
Oh, yeah.
Exciting times ahead.
Cool. Well, I'll only ask you...
And it doesn't extend there. We've got a great crew as well. The Cradle of Filth, we call them.
The
so that's
Cradle
part
of
of our...
that.
Yeah, that's part of our extended family as well.
Yeah. No, I'll only ask you one more question. Just what albums are you listening to at the moment, just for all the Cradle of Filth fans and for myself? If you could pick 5 albums that, doesn't matter if it's new or old, that you could tell people to go check it out, that it will blow their mind, what albums would you recommend for people?
Oh, I wouldn't know about blowing their minds with them. The Enslaved album, In Times.
Yep.
Been listening to that. I've been listening to the soundtrack for a film called It Follows, which is an American independent horror film. It's a really cool soundtrack, just full of weird noises and things like that. An album by a band called Craft called Fuck the Universe. That's in my car at the moment. And that's been a long-term favourite, but it's found its way back in. Hammer of the Witches, because it literally does stick in, and The Great and Secret Show by Devilment, because we've been playing festivals, so I've had to have those 2 albums in the car, which I put on from time to time, so that I can, learn everything. So that's what's in my car at the moment, those 5.
Oh, excellent, man. If you come down to Australia, man, I'd love to come up the front row, take some photos, have a beer, and watch this Cradle of Filth, man. It'll be awesome, and hopefully get to come say hi to you guys.